Hello everyone, this is Karen Elaine, and I have a really fun project for you. This is based on the technique that recently has been called neurographic art or neurographica. This is kind of doodling and mindful art has been done for many years in practice, but they never had a name. So I think the reason that they call it that is that these look like little neurons, the little joined areas. But these are some earlier ones that I did. And then I thought it would be fun to try even a more simplified version of it, where you make circles with a template like this, or any type of circle maker, and then you join them together and then just do color swatching. And it's just a really fun technique, and I'll have another one to show you as well. So let's get started. What you need is a 5x7 hot pressed watercolor pad. I love this paper because it has a little tooth to it, but it's perfect for drawing, so it's not too rough. You also need a fine point pen, and I love the Detail Master because you've got all the different widths here, and we're going to be using them in this project. I've got a couple of Fusion watercolor brushes. I have watercolors, some water as well, and maybe a paper towel. Have that handy. And start by this one I'm going to do two different versions. One is just straight on the paper, and the other is going to be, well, I'll mask off the paper and do something else. But I'm going to take my pen. I don't need a pencil. I'm going to take my pen. I'm going to use the 5, I think, or I could use a 7. I'm going to go a little bit bolder. So I'm going to put a circle. I guess I'm going to put my biggest circle kind of in the sort of off center a little bit, not right smack dab. I'm trying to think of composition here, I guess. Now, Detail Masters are pigmented, so they're waterproof, and that's what makes this really good. So go in a circle, make your circle have it connect, and then lift it up. And now I'm going to do another circle, and I'm going to make a join. I'll try it this way. I'm going to make a smaller circle right where I kind of made that boo-boo. And I want to have it overlap the other one. So I'll start the circle, the line. Yes, it works way better with the smooth side down. And I'm just going to make a few circles in this, and I can have them come apart like this. I can just kind of play, and I'm going to just do different size circles kind of randomly on the page. And I could join them or I could not join them. I think this one needs to be right there. So do that, make several circles, maybe 5 to 7. I've got 4 here. I think I'll do, let's see. There's a 5th one. I think I'm going to do 7 circles just for this one. But you can do as many or as little as you want. And they almost look like little bubbles to me. It's just a real fun and relaxing activity, I think. And it doesn't take any drawing skills. It just takes a little bit of mindfulness and kind of going slow when you're making your drawing. So this is the number 7, just so you can see the difference in the pen weight. I think this one I did with a 5, so it's just a little bit more delicate line. I like that. I think that just leave it like that. I've got 6. I'm going to do one more because I like that odd number. So I'll do the little tiny one kind of going off right here. So that'll be 7. Like that. I like that. Okay, next step. So this is where you just take your pen, and you start to make thicker lines right at each intersection. So I'm just kind of making a curved, sort of a diamond, I guess. It's sort of a little diamond. It's basically sort of softening the edges of each intersection where the line intersects. So this is basically like a half of a curve. Almost looks like a little diamond shape, but with a curved weight. And if you want to, you can actually take your pen and just kind of go along the line you just made. That gives it a little more organic, organic line because it's not perfect. And it also helps you to make that your curved, when you sort of go toward it and then curve this way. Now you'll see I'm going to just kind of do this, and then I'm going to turn my paper around, and I'm just going to kind of go along the highway. It's kind of like driving along, and then I'm going to make a left exit off the freeway. Kind of reminds me of that. I'm going to make a right exit on that one. But just do this with every single place that the bubbles intersect. Now you see I've got all of the little areas intersected, and you'll notice I've made some lines thicker than others just for a little variation. But now I'm going to do the watercolor, the fun part. So you get a little bit of water, of course, and I'm going to use a medium-sized brush. This is the size 4. But for smaller areas, you might want to use a smaller brush. And I'm going to take my mixing colors, just these basic colors, and I'm going to start with maybe a yellow color. This is the new Gamboge, or the Gamboge hue. I think it's so pretty. I'm going to make this a very bright kind of swatch. And I'm going to do this large circle first, like just, and I'm going to go right in the whole circle. Inside, trying to keep in the lines if I can, but I see I went off the line, outside a little bit, but that's okay. Just fill in your circles with different colors, and I just think pure colors would be fun. I'm going to use the yellow, and then I'm going to go maybe on this one with maybe the red. Let's see, this would be the alizarin crimson or the permanent rose. Let's see, that one. I'll just use that one. I'm going to go ahead and do that one right here, staying kind of within that circle. Now, because the circles that I'm doing are the ones that aren't joined together, they aren't overlapping, so I'm going to let those dry just a little bit, and then I'm going to keep working in the after this dries. Let me just let this dry. Give me a minute to let that dry. I'm just filling it up, get kind of saturated value of that circle. I've let this dry, these two colors. Now I'm going to put a blue in this circle, and I'm going to just overlap the two that are there. And it will be interesting to see how this blue, which I think I'm going to pick the phthalo blue out of that, which would be the second one. I have a messy tray here. And I'm just going to take that pure phthalo blue, and I'm going to just put it right in this section. I'm going to go ahead and just glaze right over the other one. And that will tell me what kind of colors I can make by mixing the two, or overlapping them, or glazing them. And that's what this is called, glazing. Glazing is a wash over a dry wash. So you can see how that looks. I have a purple that's sort of coming out, and a green, just by overlapping. And now with these, I have just put any colors that I want. I think I'm just going to take this gorgeous sap green, and I want to see what sap green looks like over over this red, over this color here. It probably will look very neutral, but it'll be interesting to see. And then just continue with colors that you choose. And there you go. So this is basically how the piece will look. And you can decide if you want to use this as a way to document colors, how they overlap each other. You could write down the color name here. This is phthalo blue, this is sap green, ultramarine blue, purple lake, gamboge, and burnt sienna. These are really great ways to document. So I'm going to do that. Okay, so now I've got this really interesting color, sort of a record of what colors do, and I think it looks really cool. If you want to make this into a card, you could put some words or a greeting, and you can mount it on a card. I think this is just really fun. So that's one way, and then there's one little thing that I like to do. There we go. Now I'm going to make little, just to finish it off, I add little dots, kind of in little white dots. You don't have to do this, but I just like doing this for some reason. Just makes it, oops, that's a little too much. There we go. And you can add, change the dot size. I needed to condition this a little bit. But look at that. That just kind of makes it more sparkly for some reason. I just love that. And that's all you need to do, and it's finished. So I'm going to show you the next project. For the second version of this project, you would take your paper and just make a border with some masking tape. And I just made about 1/4 inch border and then mounted it to a little board. And I like this little board because I can move it around. It makes it so I can rotate the paper easily. Now I'm going to take my circles. I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to use, this time I'm going to use the 1.0. We'll see what, I've never tried it with this, but I want to try it. So I'm just going to do some circles, but I might only do 3. I'm going to do this one here, going slowly around and kind of connecting the circle. That's one. Just kind of make a different size, maybe here. I can go a couple times around and that'll make it a nicer line, looks like. And maybe a third circle. Let's see, do we want to do the full size? Yes, let's do the full size. I'm trying to keep it inside the image area. So I've got 3 circles. That's all I have there. Now the rest, I'm just going to have a little fun making lines. And I want them to kind of intersect. So I'm going to start kind of like here, and then I'm just going to kind of cross over. Very, very, not really thinking about it much. I'm going to just kind of cross over, maybe cross over. And that's probably all I think I'll do. And the same thing that we did with the other is I'm going to make wherever in every place it intersects, I'm just going to thicken that line. And I think I'm going to use a smaller pen. This is the 1 and it makes a nice broad line, but I might just try using the 7 to make little smaller marks here. And you can go bold, or you could kind of waver the lines. You can vary the thickness by just kind of going through your lines like this, and just kind of every line that you have an intersection, just make that curve, just like you did with the first one. Just a curve at every single intersection. Kind of thinking it as like the neural highways, or just the highways in general. They have those off ramps and exits and on ramps, and that's kind of what this is. But this, it's only with line. Play some music while you're doing this. It's a very mindful, slow activity. I'll be speeding things up so you can see the whole process. All right, so I think these drawings look very interesting on their own. And you could make drawings like this and that would be it, but I also love to include color, so I'm going to show that next. Now I've got my watercolors, my water, and my brush, and I'm going to do the circles first. I'm going to just, this time I think I'm going to stick to a theme of cool colors instead of all over the place, but it's just a really good way to test your colors out, swatch them. Again, you can do the same thing. I'm going to do a beautiful blue, kind of an ultramarine blue. I'm just going to maybe do this one. And you can do different values, like this is a great way to do value studies as well. And you can get either very dark values or go light. And just play with your watercolors and using these little areas as containers for color exploration. I'll do this circle maybe in this really turquoise color. One thing you need to know is when you use a pigmented pen like the Detail Master or any other, give it a little time to dry. It is waterproof, but if you do it right away, you may have some moving of color, and you don't really want to do that with these lines. You want to keep them nice and crisp. Another thing is I would suggest using transparent colors, transparent watercolors like these, because if you use opaque colors, you'll likely go over the lines you made, and it won't look as interesting. Let's see, we'll do this phthalo blue. Ooh, that's a very intense blue, almost too dark, but that's okay. Still looks okay. And then after these dry, I'm going to just start filling in the other little sections with color. So I've kind of let some colors bleed together. I didn't wait for the edges to dry, but I still like the way that looks. And I'm going to just hit it with a little, just dry it quickly first, and then I'll do one last step. The last step, again, is I'm going to just add a little bit of light to this, and I'm going to go ahead and put little dots in just where the little intersections happen. And I'm going to vary the thickness or the diameter of the dot. And I am using my One4All acrylic. It is the 1 millimeter. It's the one that seems to clog the least. You have to kind of take care of these pens, but they're really wonderful. Just adding that little white little dot really makes a big difference, and it kind of finishes off. And after I'm finished with these little dots, I will take the tape off and show you how it looks. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the tape. And if you're wondering what kind of tape I'm using, this is a tape called the Nitto tape, Nitto, made in Japan. It's really nice stuff. It's very see-through. There it is. So I love that look, and I love this one. So I hope you enjoyed making these. So I hope you enjoyed creating. Have a great day.